goodness, it has been such a long morning, but I think I finally got something that you guys are going to like. So hello and welcome to another installment of AA Computers and Technology. And in this installment, I really did try to get Android up and running on our little setup right there, but unfortunately, that did not work. So I was like, well, you know, I have this all set up. It took me like 45 minutes to find everything and get everything out. I might as well do something while we have it right here. So I tried to get Windows 10 up and running, but for some reason, the installment was corrupt, so I had to go back and install it all over again, and it's taking forever. So I'm like, alright, I don't have enough time for this. So instead, I got Ubuntu 14.04, which is the latest LTS release of Ubuntu, and I'm going to try to run it on this Pentium 4 machine. And if you're sitting there wondering, well, what the heck is the point of this video, let me tell you, it is purely just for fun, as are a lot of my videos. So I've used Ubuntu 12.04 in the past on older hardware like this. I liked the way that it ran for the most part. It was really light on resources. The only thing that really bugged me was the fact that Unity was kind of clunky to use on older hardware like this, so I tended to opt for lighter distributions such as Ubuntu and Xubuntu, but it still ran at a level that was acceptable. So I'm going to take 14.04 and see if it is the same as 12.04. I want to see if it runs the same way as 12.04 did on older hardware, and this is the perfect opportunity to do so. And if you couldn't tell, I am testing out a new camera today. We're using the Canon T1i DSLR camera. So if you guys like the video quality, go ahead and post a comment in the comments section. If you don't like it, do the same as well, because if you don't like it, I will never ever use this camera again, because once again, these are just rentals, so I can just return it and try out something else. I think next time, if this doesn't work out, I'll try out the T2i, because it actually supports 720p at 60 FPS. So, and oh, also one more thing, don't forget to drop a like on this video, because I'm not sure if that bot attack is still going on or not. We'll find out after I upload this video. And yeah, just leave a like, help me out there. Let's go ahead and get started. So, currently I am installing Ubuntu 14.04 onto the solid state drive. That way we can install the drivers for the GeForce 6200, because with the video drivers, it tends to run a lot smoother. And then, of course, we're also using the SATA interface, which should be faster than USB, especially the Live edition. So we're trying to get Ubuntu to run at its full potential on this Pentium 4 system. So it's just finished installing. Let's go ahead and take a look around the system first. I'll show you all the system hardware, and then we'll check out the specifications in the BIOS. Alright, so I was gone for a little bit, but now I am back. If you don't recognize a lot of these parts, this is actually from the Nobilis Pentium 4 machine that I did an overview on, and we actually used it for a couple of experiments. I just took all the parts out because now my actual system is inside that case, and that was the Disguise Your Gaming Computer video. So there's a Pentium 4 running at, I believe, 2.5 gigahertz right under here. We'll check out the exact system specifications when we go into the BIOS. Let me get this in focus, because the autofocus on this camera is absolutely horrendous, so I have to do it myself. We have 1 gigabyte of DDR running at 333 megahertz. As I said earlier, we have that GeForce 6200 video card with 256 megabytes of video RAM on board. And then for our hard drive, we are using a Kingspec 2.5-inch SATA 3 hard drive. Max capacity for this drive is 16 gigabytes. So pretty small drive, but it will work for what we're doing right now. And then I think that's really about it. And of course, I'm going to have to take my MediaLink wireless dongle out and plug it into this PC so we can download the drivers and any other. Okay, so that flash drive is now removed. We can power the system up and boot from the solid state drive. But first, as I said earlier, we're going to go into the BIOS and check out the exact system specifications. Powering on now, F2. Let's get into that BIOS. Please do not skip it. There we go. Alright, so you can see all of our system specifications right here. We have a Pentium 4 with hyperthreading enabled, running at 2.6 gigahertz, a little bit higher than I thought. Our RAM is still clocked at 333 megahertz. We have 1 gigabyte of DDR running at 333, as I said earlier, once again. So I almost got all the specifications right. And then really, I believe that's about it. Let's go ahead and exit this and boot into Ubuntu. So exit the scarring changes, because we really didn't make any. I guess it doesn't matter. And of course, if you want a time to boot time, you can do it yourself. You have a nice little timeline right under the video. for your convenience. So if you're really curious, you can go ahead and check that out, but that's not really what I'm gauging right now. I want to see how the operating system runs when we actually get into the desktop environment. It's taking a little bit longer than I would hope. Then again, this is a cheaper, actually very cheap solid state drive. I actually got this solid state drive for, I believe, under $20 a couple months ago. Alright, and here we are on the desktop. I'm going to go ahead and plug in that wireless adapter because I forgot to do so. I'm going to load up the drivers for the GeForce 6200, and hopefully those are successful. And then we'll try out some of the applications on the system and see how smooth it runs with this Pentium 4 processor. I found the legacy driver that we are going to be using for this card. It's 304.128, and hopefully when I reboot this, I don't get a black screen, because I remember one of these actually just will cause the system to crash, and then you have to completely restore everything, which is an absolute pain, and I hope it's not this one. So I'm going to go ahead and reboot to apply the changes, and hopefully it actually does work. Yeah, that video driver was definitely the wrong choice. I mean, it didn't crash, but Unity is pretty much unusable at this moment. So I'm gonna have to either do a clean install or find a way to uninstall the video driver and then reinstall another one. So this is gonna be interesting. I hate when stuff like this happens. Alright, so none of these drivers actually work. I wasted a ton of time yesterday and today trying to get the drivers to work with this card, and unfortunately I tried all three drivers and neither one of them actually gave me an acceptable result. As you saw in the previous clips, I would just be presented with the desktop environment and would just have white squares everywhere, and after 5 seconds of booting into that environment, everything would just freeze and crash. So drivers are not working for Ubuntu 14.04, unfortunately. I believe they did actually work with 12.04 because I was using this card with Xubuntu and Ubuntu 12.04 at one point, and the drivers worked just fine. But now, for some reason, drivers do not work with 14.04, unfortunately. And this is the most powerful AGP card I have in my little arsenal of computer parts back there. I have a couple ATI Rage 128 Pros back there, but I mean, really, I think we're just better off using the GeForce 6200. I think I also have a GeForce 5200, but the drivers for that card also are garbage on Ubuntu. So we're going to be using Ubuntu with the Pentium 4 without the drivers. I'm sorry, guys. I know. Please don't complain about it because there's nothing I can really do at this point. So let's go ahead. I reinstalled Ubuntu once again. And we can go ahead and check out how Ubuntu forms with this Pentium 4, this card, and 1 GB of DDR RAM installed. Okay, so the driver support for this version of Ubuntu kind of gets on my nerves because, as I recall, the GeForce 6200 drivers did work with 12.04. So we're having some legacy driver support issues here. Not really sure what's going on with that. I mean, this is Linux, so that happens. But that's definitely a point off for me, to be honest. It's just annoying. So let's see how badly the video quality is affected. And I usually just test that out by dragging a window around and see how far it lags behind. And it actually doesn't look too bad. Let's see what our screen resolution is set at. Okay, so we are running at 1366 by 769. So not too bad, not full HD resolution, but I don't even think this monitor is capable of full HD resolution, to be honest. So we really don't have to worry about that. You can see Unity right here. Everything looks good. There's no artifacts on the screen. So video quality so far, I mean, I'm not really going to complain about it at this point. Now let's open up some applications and see how they run on this machine. And of course, dragging a window around isn't the only way I am going to gauge video performance and performance in general on this system. I also have Supertuxcart installed, and we will go on the internet and try to stream some videos off YouTube. So first, I always like to start off with office programs because I picture the Pentium 4 as a modern day office PC. Yes, it is extremely power hungry, but I see them in offices all the time. People still use them as basic office machines because, I mean, really that's the only thing, not the only thing, but that they're pretty good for that. So we're going to maximize this window. Let me just try typing in some text. Hello. Going to go with the generic phrase here, YouTube. There we go. Let's modify the text a little bit. I am going to enlarge it. Let's make it 18. Change the font to something really weird. Oh, that wasn't as weird as I thought it would be. That's disappointing. And how about we change the color? Alright, hello YouTube. So, it appears that the LibreOffice word processor works just fine. So I'm going to close out this. Close without saving. Let's try the PowerPoint equivalent. Click that text. Let's go ahead and add that same good old generic text. Perfect. Alright. And let's just try dragging that around. So not bad. Not bad at all. Everything is working just fine in these office programs. Close without saving. Let's go ahead and try to open up the Software Center because for some odd reason, Ubuntu Software Center takes up so many system resources. I have no idea why. It just slows the system down dramatically. And I've always had issues with it. So if I would have to have two big no-nos with Ubuntu, it would be Unity and the Software Center. Because I don't know, it's weird. You would think a Software Center would be pretty light, but it's not. It slows everything down a lot, and it's clunky. As you can see, I'm trying to scroll through here, and it's really lagging behind. So let's just search something up. I'm gonna go into the games. We'll just navigate through here for a little bit. How about simulation? And can we scroll down here? Alright, so really, I mean, what else could we do with the Software Center? Gonna close out that. Let's go ahead and open up Firefox. I need to find a different transition word besides, well, let's go ahead, because I feel like I've said that a lot in this video. And with the solid state drive, everything is pretty snappy. So I'm going to go to my website first, because that's usually what I use to test out the web browser. So www.aacomputers, and I have caps lock on, of course, www.aacomputers and technology.com. Alright, so scrolling through here, wow, the HTML came up really weird right here on Firefox. I should probably look into that and maybe correct it. That's odd. It doesn't come up like that on Chrome. Anyway, scrolls through it nice and smooth. Let's try navigating through here. Downloads, let's just go to the free YouTube intros. Free 3D YouTube intros. Remove clutter so you can... No, I don't care. No, thank you. And really, everything is working fine with Firefox. So let's go ahead and go to YouTube. There we go with the let's go ahead again. That's actually annoying me at this point. Okay, and let's go to one of my videos because, you know, copyright issues. Typo. Maybe we'll still get it though. There we go. And of course I don't have speakers plugged into the system, so we're not going to be able to hear any audios, but we can still check out the video performance, see if I can bump it up to 720p maybe even Full HD at 1080p, if we're lucky. I doubt it though, with the Linux drivers. Oh, advertising. Shame on me for putting ads in my videos, right? Skip that. Okay, so let's just play it in the box mode. And actually, we're getting about 30 FPS right now at, no, actually, this is, I believe, no, this is 30 FPS at 360p. So let's maximize this and crank up the video quality. So as you can see, the frame rate dropped just a little bit, and what is this? Okay, allow. Frame rate dropped just a little bit. It's probably sitting at around 25 frames per second maybe. So let's go ahead. Oh my goodness, I cannot stop myself from saying it. But let's crank up the video quality. And we can only play it at 360p, which is interesting. Huh. Now, if I'm correct, I believe that is a limitation of Firefox's HTML5 player, but I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, please correct me in the comment section. And then we're going to hit one more website, which usually ends up crashing Firefox, so I want to see if it will, because CNN.com is just a mess as far as ads go and page layout. I mean, I like reading the articles, but it's an absolute mess. Yeah, and whenever I open up on these older systems, I usually end up maxing out all the memory and it just crashes. So, we'll see if we can actually read an article on here. Alright, so it is starting to lock the browser up right now. I'm trying to scroll through it and I am getting nothing. Alright, there we go. So, a little bit more responsive now. We might actually be able to click on a article. So let's try opening up the article about the hurricane that just hit Mexico. And if I'm correct, I believe this was the biggest hurricane ever, or largest hurricane ever recorded so far. I think it was a Category 5. And I think the wind speeds were over 200 miles per hour. It was interesting reading about it. I mean, they got absolutely destroyed down there. But actually, CNN is working pretty well on this system and in tandem with Ubuntu 14.04. So let's go ahead and close out of this because it's still kind of laggy and it's getting on my nerves, but it didn't crash, thank goodness. So that was actually kind of a surprise to me. But let's open up the file manager because I usually do that in my videos and see how responsive that is. So let's just try navigating through the file system. Computer, let's just go through something that should have a lot of files in it. There we go. And that actually works just fine. And one last thing I really want to test out before we end this, and so far I'm actually pretty impressed with how well Ubuntu 14.04 has run so far, is I want to open up a game, and that's Supertuxcart. Nice and speedy thanks to that solid state drive. No, let's not do that right now. Okay, and let's see if I can crank up the video settings so we can get it full screen. You can see our graphics settings right now. We're running at 1366 by 768, so full resolution. And then pretty much our graphical effects are set to the equivalent of medium. So I'm going to go back here, just do a single player race. And we have run into that issue where the carts actually don't show up on screen, but hopefully it does when we go into the game. Now let's just do a standard race. I forgot how to play this game with the keyboard because I usually use the Xbox controller. And, oh, there we go. Okay, not bad. And we're probably getting about 15 frames per second right now. Oh, come on. Oh, I was using the wrong buttons there, but there we go. We are off. Yeah, that looks about 15, maybe a little bit less than 15 frames per second with medium settings. So, not too bad. I mean, we don't have the proper video and drivers installed, so if we had the proper drivers installed, and I think I did at one point with this card, I could get maybe 30 frames, a full 30 frames per second. But since we are lacking the video drivers, it is actually negatively affecting this game, so kind of disappointed about that. Once again, could not get those video drivers to work. But still, even without the video drivers, 15 frames per second, maybe at times a little bit over 15 frames per second, still looks great. I'm just going to play this for a couple more seconds. I'm in first place, so now it's kind of addicting. I don't want to stop. Whoa, big frame jump right there. I guess that scene had fewer polygons in it. Whoa. Yeah, so at times we're actually hitting 30 frames per second, like right now, and now we're back at the 15 to 20. And right here we're at 30 frames per second. Definitely close to 30 frames. Wow, it looks good right now, and we're back. So at certain parts in the map, we're actually hitting the desired frame rate. And I just realized when I first got into the system environment, I forgot to check out the system resources we were using at idle. So currently we have 612 megabytes of memory free out of the 1 gigabyte, and our CPU usage is around 10% at idle. And before I end this video, I do want to check out the multitasking capabilities. So I am going to open up a couple applications at the same time, including the task manager, or I guess in Ubuntu would be called the system monitor. So we're going to open up a couple LibreOffice applications like LibreOffice Writer. We're going to open up the PowerPoint equivalent, which is Impress. I keep forgetting their names. And let's open up an instance of Firefox to go along with it. And once again, solid state drive is really helping, but you can see it is starting to slow down. Come on, Firefox, you can do it. Open up. There we go. And let's navigate to that awful layout of CNN. Ooh, and you can see our CPU usage is all over the place. We're not using too much memory, actually, right now. So let's try opening up a couple more tabs in Firefox. Can I duplicate? Is that an option? I don't use Firefox that much, so pardon me for that, but I had no idea. So we're just going to have to type in the URL. Alright, we'll pop up another instance of CNN. Let's open up LibreOffice Calc, which is the Excel equivalent. And, I mean, I'm surprised. With all these applications open, Ubuntu 14.04 on this hardware isn't skipping a beat. Everything is still usable. So, really great multitasking capabilities right here. The camera battery is starting to die, so I'm going to try to wrap it up right now. And that's what I really liked about the camcorder, is that if the battery was about to die, I could just plug it in and, you know, record as long as I wanted. But with this Canon T1i, that is not the case. So I was actually really impressed with the performance of Ubuntu 14.04 on this older hardware. It's very similar to 12.04, minus the driver issue right here, but once again, that's a minor issue. It's hardware specific, so if you're not using the GeForce 6200, you're not going to have a problem. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can post a comment in the comment section. Please subscribe, and please do not forget to like this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next installment of AA Computers and Technology. Well, hopefully I will get Windows 10 running on the system, and I'm also going to still try to get Android up and running on this Pentium 4 machine.